Yo, what up, YouTube? It's Rashad back with another video. I just had a quick message I wanted to get out before I finish my day. I just got off of work. I'm outside of the store. Been waiting to start the video, bro. It's this damn car alarm going off for bro, I kid you not, the car alarm was going off for like 5 minutes, bro. Maybe I'm capping. Maybe my sense of time feels different. Maybe it felt like 5 minutes, but it was really like 2 because you know what I'm saying? But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today, bro, is, what I think, how do I put it? With what we have coming, I'm off to a slow start down. Might as well hang it up, clock this video in. But no, I'm gonna keep going. What I think about what's going on as far as the job layoffs, people starving or people potentially starving, people not knowing whether they're going to get benefits or not, the anxiety of the threat of benefits being cut, not just food stamps, but Section 8, healthcare, all type of things, because what's happening right now is, like I tell y'all, or like I've been telling y'all, they're trying to restructure the whole system, bro. You know what I'm saying? And what they're doing is they're tearing everything down to build it back up. At least that's how I see it. So that's why I'm telling y'all, it's gonna be a period where you're gonna have to have survival skills to get through. When I make videos saying the survival of the fittest, is not to sound smart or anything like that. It's being real, bro. You can really break this thing down to science, what they finna bring people into, bro. Because it's two sides of the sword. As I browse the web, you see some people, and life is just going on, bro. They're having parties, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. It's a good thing. They're enjoying their life. They're having parties. They're with their families. They're eating good. It's people out there surviving, bro. It's people out there smiling, laughing. And you'll be surprised, bro. It's really about the people you surround yourself with and the spirit that you have. It's people, working 7 days a week, but they can still, crack a joke and keep a smile on their face, even though, times is hard and, people got to work the overtime right now to make it, bro. But what I wanted to get at in this video, bro, is, you really learn something when you go through, when you go through a struggle, bro, or when you go through a time of pain, a time of trauma, a time of uncertainty, a time where you really don't know, when things will get better, when there's no signs of anything getting better. I remember around this time last year, I got fired right before Thanksgiving, bro. And after I got fired from Amazon, that, was the lowest point I ever reached in my life. I've gone through a lot in my life, but just to be 23 years old, going into the holidays, having no money, right? It was the first time since I graduated high school that I was just useless. I've been working since my senior year of high school. I've always had a little money in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Or tried to keep a little money in my pocket. I was always able to go do for self. When I was young and a kid and still in high school, I had people that did for me and helped me out, and still to this day. But I was always the type of person, if it wasn't given to me, I found ways to go get it. You know what I'm saying? I always prided myself on that. Not asking people for things. I don't ask people for nothing unless I'm in dire need. Unless I'm in a dire situation like, some people may go into right now if they was relying on food stamps and their stamps get cut. But I don't ask anybody for anything that I can't go get myself. And I remember around this time, around the holidays, having nothing. I got my last Amazon check, and it was a big check, you know. So Thanksgiving actually wasn't terrible now that I refreshed, because I had just got that big check. But after Thanksgiving and by Christmas, man, I was broke. I was broke, and no job in sight, bro. You know, so I had my sister's birthday, because I have a sister whose birthday is in December. I couldn't get her a gift because I didn't have any money. Like I said, but after Thanksgiving, I was broke. My sister had came in town. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I was living it up. I ain't gonna lie. I blew a lot of money, bro. After I got fired, I don't know if it was just like a coping mechanism, but bro, I blew a lot of money, bro. I probably blew like $1,000 the week I got fired, bro. But it was like my sister had came into town, bro. My older sister, my second oldest sister, and my younger sister too, because they both in college. So they both came in town for Thanksgiving. So shit, we was outside, bro. We was outside. I'm like, yeah, shit, I just got fired, but shit, nigga just got paid, bro. Check fat as hell. So shit, we outside. You know what I'm saying? So it was actually lit, bro. When I first got fired, it was lit, bro. I was making mad videos. Them shits was getting mad views. Like, it was low-key a little honeymoon phase after a nigga got fired. I'm like, all right, this getting fired shit ain't too bad. Like, shit's still lit. You know what I'm saying? Then I blew all the money, thinking, oh, I'm going to get it back on some hustler shit. You know what I'm saying? I get this shit back, you know? I get another job, nigga. Job ain't shit, nigga. I live in Chicago, nigga. I can get another job in a week, nigga. Like, goddamn. I guess you can say I was a little arrogant about it, because that's always how I've been with work. Like, I always get to it one way or the other. I find ways to make some money, bro. I'm like, nigga, I'll get some bread, bro. I ain't finna motherfucking be broke out here. You feel me? Got that last check. I remember my last check. It was over $2,000, bro. Like I said, by the beginning of December, all my bread was gone, bro. So Thanksgiving was probably like November 20 something. Nigga, by December I was broke. I was on a budget like a mother. I was pretty much broke, bro. Jobs moving slow. Jobs ain't getting back to me. I'm putting out bad applications. Ain't nobody really hiring for real. Nigga done just missed the peak season. Niggas done already hired all they peak workers and shit like that. So it was a real bad time to be out of work, bro. And I went 3 clean months, no work, broke as hell. Now one can say, oh, well, you should have been smarter. You should have saved money. Oh, you blew your check after you got fired. That's on you. Oh, I'm not saying this for y'all to feel bad for me. I'm saying this because there's a message to the story. It was a lesson that I learned from getting this broke. Not only was I broke, when I got fired, some of y'all know, my dad was going through some things. He was in the hospital for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Had to go. He was in the hospital for some months. Ended up having to get a whole procedure and all type of stuff. But he's all good now. But it was a real bad time to get fired, bro, because it was a time where I needed to be strong. With everything going on, I needed to be strong. I needed to be strong for my dad. With what he was going through, I was supposed to be strong for him, bro. And I just remember how heartbreaking it was going to see him in the hospital. And I had to tell him, yeah, Dad, I got fired, man. And just seeing the disappointment on his face, bro. That shit crushed me, And then just going up there every time to see him, like, yeah, I'm putting out applications. I'm going to get a job, Pops. You know I'm going to get another job. I'm going to get another job. Month go by, find another job. Nah, Pops, but I'm looking like I'm going to get some. 2 months go by, he already know I'm down bad. I'm calling them asking for money. They don't even really, got it right now. Calling my mom, hey mom, my stamps done ran out. Like, they only giving me like 190 something a month. Like, I done ran through my stamps. It don't re-up for another 2 weeks. You think you could send me like $15 for something to eat? You know, I can pay you back, you know, once I get back on my feet, you know. But you know, I ain't ate in like 2 days, you know. It wouldn't be no 2 days. If I go like a whole day without eating, by that second day, bro, you know what I'm saying, niggas done put their pride aside. That first day, I'll thug it out for a day. But nigga, by day 2, no, I'm calling somebody, bro. I'm hungry, bro. I'm hungry, bro. I ain't finna starve in this motherfucker. I'm sorry. Shit. So yeah, bro, I remember having a call and shit, you know, just feeling like a complete bum, bro. You know, just feeling like a complete bum. And I remember by Christmas, my sisters had came back in town for Christmas break from college, and you know, my sisters basically had to take care of me, goddamn. Like, they was taking me out to eat. They was taking me out places and shit, bro. And I remember my oldest sister told me, she was like, as a man, you never want to be useless. You know, always make sure as a man you're useful. I remember she told me that. And them words stuck with me, bro. I told myself, man, I ain't never gonna be useless again, bro. I ain't never gonna be sitting on somebody, you know, I ain't never gonna be out begging for something to eat, bro. You know, I ain't never gonna be a man that can't offer something to the people around me. That's why when I finally got back on my feet, you know, I gave, you know. My sister came back in town, and man, I'm like, bro, everything on me. You don't gotta pay for nothing. You know, and my sister, she got a lot of pride, so she'd be like, no, I'm gonna pay. And most of the time she'll pay. But I remember one time I was like, no, I got you. She was like, no, I'm gonna pay for me. I'm like, bro, I got you. Like, you ain't gotta pay nothing. Cause I remember when I was down bad, she took care of me. You know, so now that I'm up, bro, nah, I got you. You feel me? And it ain't about getting even or nothing like that. It's just the mentality, right? We gonna look after each other, right? That's love. But that's why when I finally got back on my feet, bro, I gave. You know what I'm saying? To everyone around me, and I'm still giving, and I'm gonna always give, bro. Because I remember when I ain't have nothing, the people that I called upon, I remember who was there. I remember going over my sister's house to get something to eat because I ain't had nothing to eat. I remember after work, you know, even when I just started the job that I got now, because when I started the job I got now, I was in a lot of debt. So like for the first month of me working my new job, basically every check was going into getting me out of debt. So I spent a lot of days at my oldest sister crib. You know, she was taking care of a nigga, cooking, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Cause you know what I'm saying? Did he get out? No, yeah, he was out by then. I can't remember when he got out the hospital. Can't remember the exact month. But yeah, no, he was out by then. I think maybe like when I first started. Yeah, when I first started, he wasn't out the hospital yet. My dad. I think he got out the hospital like right after I started the job I got now. But yeah, bro, I remember the people that I had to call upon, bro. You know, when I was down bad. I remember when I almost got this car taken. It was crazy. I had just got the job that I got now. I had just started to get back on my feet. Because the first job I got a job at FedEx. And you know, but it was just part-time. I was working like 4 hours a day. Some days like 3 hours, you know. And they weren't paying too crazy, so I ain't had that much money. Pretty much my FedEx check was just paying for my car and the insurance, the note and the insurance and shit. So I ain't had no money for real, you know. But when I first got this job, like I said, I was in a bunch of debt. You know what I'm saying? But damn, what point was I making? I lost my train of thought. Anyway, bro, the point I'm making with all this shit, my bad with the camera angle and shit. You know, let me lock in. The point I'm making, bro, is a nigga was down bad, bro. And that shit really changed me, bro. Like, just my work ethic. Like I said, I went to FedEx, won Employee of the Month, you know, somewhere where, you know, I think the person that had won it won like 4 or 5 Employee of the Month straight. It was like going to the same person. You know what I'm saying? And he was a good worker, you know. And I was able to go and make an impact, bro. You know, and that was as hungry as I ever was, bro. I don't think I was ever as hungry I don't think I was ever that hungry at a job like I was at FedEx, bro. Going 3 months, no job, just door dashing. Door dashing was getting me by, but a nigga, it wasn't enough to pay for my car and shit. It was just enough for me to eat. My car note was getting behind. The insurance wasn't getting paid. You know what I'm saying? My OGs had to pay my insurance for me. I ain't have it for a few months, Like I said, it's people that was looking after me while I was down, and that just made me feel so weak and so bummy, bro. Having to be looked after by all these people, bro. But thankfully, thank God, I did have people to look after me. If I ain't had nobody, I would have been one of them people on the streets, But thankfully, I have a big family, bro. A loving family, But so my point of even telling y'all that whole story is, around this time last year and going into the new year, that shit changed me, bro. Not having nothing, going into the holiday season, bro. It was a depressing holiday season for me, bro. Christmas came around. I'm like, damn, bro. Because nigga grown now. I know I speak about the holidays, but it is what it is. My family still celebrated, so goddamn, I'm not gonna goddamn exclude myself from the shit. You know what I'm saying, during the holiday season, bro. But yeah, bro, I couldn't buy nobody no gifts. Like I said, it was my sister's birthday. Couldn't get her nothing. My sister's coming in town from college. Can't even do nothing with them. They having to take care of me, And like I said, I finally got this job after working FedEx. I think I was at FedEx for like 2-3 months. And I hated it there. I hated it at FedEx, bro. But I ain't had no other choice. I ain't had no other options, bro. I was driving 45 minutes for a 4-hour shift. It felt so stupid. Like, a lot of my check was just going to gas and food, like, But I did it anyway, and I didn't do the bare minimum. I was employee of the month type shit. And I know some people don't give a damn about the employee of the month shit. I really don't give too much of a damn about it, but I do take pride in it, because it's like, all right, out of all these niggas working here, I was chosen as the best employee. Like, that says something, bro, because it's a lot of people that work that job, and because it's so hard and so grueling and it doesn't pay that much, they don't give a fuck. They do the bare minimum. But I just have a different mentality. I was raised, whatever you do, be the best at it, or try to be the best at it. Strive to be the best. Strive to be among the best. So that's just my mentality with whatever job I have. I always take pride in being looked at as a good worker. You know what I'm saying? We all human. We all got our flaws, but I think one thing that you should always have is the effort. You know what I'm saying? As much as possible. Like I said, we human. We have our bad days. We have our days where our effort isn't the best. But consistently, you should be bringing that effort, that passion, that soul to whatever you do, because we don't do anything with no purpose. You're at a job for a purpose. You there to make some bread. You there to better yourself. You there to better your family, better yourself. So it's a purpose why you do that shit. And there's people watching you when you working. It's people watching you when you outside. I know it's people that watch people at work. I don't want to be one of them people that people are watching and they like, oh, he lazy. He barely work. He barely this. He don't deserve it. I don't want motherfuckers looking at me like I don't deserve my spot. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all when I first started working here, the job I got now, I was just seasonal. And, I was insecure about whether I would get the position, but I was hopeful and I was faithful. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't sure if I would get it, but I was confident that, I was confident, but not, I don't know. Like, I just believed in myself. I guess I'll say that. Like, even though there was some doubt, even though it was like, well, what if they don't choose you? I was like, man, I know if I go out there and I give it my all, bro, I'm gonna get that shit, bro. That's just how I thought. And it was ups and downs. It was times where, it was kind of like, I don't really know. Like, I don't know how shit is going. Like, I don't know what these niggas is thinking. Like, goddamn managers coming up to you every other week about some shit. It's like, god damn. It's like, I guess I'm fucking up. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I ended up getting the full time. I just recently got it, and to me that's good, bro. It's good that I was able to set out a goal and accomplish it, but I'm not satisfied with it, because now I feel like now you got that, like, I want anybody who thinks I don't deserve what I have to see that I deserve what I fucking have. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, it's the chip on my shoulder to be like, yeah, this is why I was one of the people that wasn't laid off, you know, because not everybody got the full-time position. A lot of people got laid off. And I know it may be some people in there that may know some people that got laid off, and they may feel some type of way. They may feel like they homie should have got the position over me, or it may be somebody still fighting for the position and they see I got the position. I want niggas to know when they see me, nigga, I'm in this motherfucker grinding day in, day out, bro. You know, so now I got a different chip on my shoulder where it's like, you know what, let me step up my game, you know, because I've been doing decent, but I can really take shit to a different level, and let me show niggas I belong, bro. I don't want nobody looking at me like I was handed something. Nigga, I earned this shit. You know, so now I got like a different goal. It's like I climbed that mountain. You know, I went through the seasonal process where you don't know if you're gonna get the full-time position, all this and that. I went through all that shit, all that uncertainty. I climbed the mountain. I got to the top. But now it's like, nigga, I'm not satisfied, bro. Like, now I got to climb another mountain. Now I need another goal. And I feel like that's what being a man is. And when I climb this mountain, I'm going to have to find another mountain to climb. I think that's just life as a man, bro. Because, you know, this work shit never stops, bro. You know, you always working, you always grinding. You know, like I said, it's just different when, you know, I'm not going to see nobody around me starve, bro. And I'm not going to starve, you know. I want to be useful, you know. So now I'm in a position where I got a steady job and it's certain. You know, I know the position is certain now. So now I can just focus on, all right, now I don't have to live in scarcity. It's like a relief, you know what I'm saying? But my point in telling y'all all of this, bro, you know, whatever these times may bring, just know that everything happens for a reason, and there's a lesson in everything you go through. You may go through hell. You know, you may be one of these people who may have been living off of the system and getting food stamps and getting this and getting that. And the food stamps may come back and they may not get cut. And we don't know what the hell is going to happen. But that uncertainty really stresses you out. And there's some people that learn from their situations, and there's some people that don't. I learned from my situation. I learned from the position I was in last year, being in one of the worst positions I was in life, at my lowest, at rock bottom, bro. You know, not having no money to my name, having negative money to my name. Checking my bank account, my shit negative. You know what I'm saying? Repo man chasing me around, all type of shit. Hiding my car at my sister crib. And then the irony, the repo man get my car at my sister crib because they had a track on the motherfucker. I'm like, God damn. God damn. Oh, that's what I was going to tell y'all when I lost my train of thought. It came back to me. Yeah, so when I first started working where I work now, you know, I was in a lot of debt. And the repo man was chasing me around. Bro, literally the day I got my check, bro. Payday. Literally payday. I wake up, I go outside, I'm at my sister crib. I wake up, I go outside, it's payday. I'm enthusiastic. I've been thinking because I knew I was in a lot of debt. You know, I was like 3 months behind on my car note. But I was like, you know, once I get this check, because I was stressing. They call and they like, yeah, we finna come get it. We looking for it. We'll up the bam. Like, you know, they on my ass. So I'm ducking these niggas. You feel me? I'm like, man, I just got to get to payday. I just got this new job. I worked like 4-5 days that week. You know what I'm saying? Was fun to get my first check. Nigga. No, it wasn't my first check because the first check was a baby check. It was my second check. Yeah, it was my second check. I was just fun to get my second check, bro. And I was like, bro, once I get this second check, I'll be able to pay everything off. We'll off the bam. I'll start being able to catch up on my car. On payday, nigga. On my second payday, nigga. I walk outside at my sister crib. I look for my car. I'm seeing ghosts. I'm like, where the fuck my car at? I'm looking around and shit. I'm goddamn checking my pockets. Like my car gonna magically appear out my pocket. I'm like, nigga, where the fuck my car at? 911, what is your emergency? Hello, I need to report a missing vehicle. Please hold. Hello, this is the whatever the hell department. How may I help you? Yes, I believe my car has been stolen. What type of vehicle is it? Whoop de doo, whoop 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 de doo de doo. Sir, the whoop de doo whoop de doo vehicle has been repossessed, actually, not stolen. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, officer. Do you know how I can contact the people who repossessed it? Yes. It seems that the such and such company has repossessed your vehicle, sir. Apparently you were behind on your notes. Yeah, you will have to call such and such company and iron things out with them. Thank you. Do you have such and such company's number by chance? Yes, I do. They give me the number. I call these niggas. Like, yo, my car was just repossessed. I'm looking for ways or I'm seeing if there's any way I can get it back. You know what I'm saying? Well, sir, your vehicle was behind a couple of months on the notes. Yeah, I got the majority of it. I was just about to pay it. I just started working a new job. You know what I'm saying? I got behind on it because I got fired from my job. So my money was tight for a couple of months. That's why I got behind. But I just started working a new job. I should be able to pay it now. I don't have all 3 months, but I can pay at least a month. And sir, I'm sorry to cut you off, but in order for you to get your vehicle back, you will have to clear the balance. Clear the balance. Yes, sir. You're gonna have to pay all 3 months, and you're also gonna have to pay late fees, and you're also have to pay service fees, and it's about an additional $1,000 in fees, sir. Okay. How long do I have to pay this? You have about 3 to 4 business days to make a payment. If you don't make a payment within 3 to 4 business days, your car will be sent to the auction. The auction. Oh, nice. All right. So I have 3 to 4 days to pay the balance. Yes, sir. 3 to 4 days. All right. Thank you. 3 to 4 days to pay the balance. I'm like, God damn. I make some phone calls, call up some people. Some family members loan me some money, and I pay the balance. And after that, I was just locked in, bro. I was like, man, I'm finna get this full-time position. I'm finna pay off all these debts, and I'm finna get back on my feet. Fast forward to today, I think it's safe to say I'm back on my feet, But still not satisfied, bro. Still not enough, bro. I still want more out of life. I still want to do more for the people around me. I still want to put myself and put the people around me in the best situation. But first I have to put myself in the best situation because, like I said, I can help now, and I do help now the people around me. And I've been given a lot, but, I want to be able to do things on a totally different level, where I can build something great, get a nice pretty lady to build a family with, a little down the line, we still outside, we still just a bachelor looking for a partner, someone who knows how to ride without falling off. I'm still young, but most importantly, just trying to build something, and then along the path of me building something, I'm sure somebody will like what I'm building and want to join. But I don't know where I went with this video, but the point I wanted to get out is whatever these times bring, just know that if you have the survivor spirit and you have a positive mindset, you can manifest your reality. You can manifest your destiny, literally, no matter how hard it gets, no matter if you're hitting rock bottom. I hit rock bottom, but I just told myself, once I get the opportunity at another job, I'm gonna work my ass off. I'm gonna earn my keep, and I ain't gonna ever let myself end up in a self-inflicted situation like this again, because I was in that situation. It was self-inflicted. I did dumb things that got me fired, and no, it had nothing to do with these videos. I got fired for negative UPT, for those wondering. Negative balance, yes. Nigga was negative 52. They say, yeah, he's cooked. I was like, man, just give me a couple more weeks, man. They like, look, man, you get 1 hour of UPT per day. You negative 52, big dog. At this rate, nigga, it's going to take you about 4, 5, 6 months to clear the balance. You out of here. I was like, damn. All from being stupid. All because I ain't want to come to work for 2 weeks. But I'll never do no dumb shit like that again. So no matter what you go through, no matter what mistakes you make in your life, as long as you learn the lesson like old Rashad learned the lesson, you're going to be all right, big dog.